Good afternoon and welcome to Esports Wales for the 2v2 Rocket League Gwent Cup. Today joining me, I've got Conch Cast. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you, boss. Very excited for this.
Yeah, it should be good. And for those of you who follow Rocket League and watch some Rocket League esports, a little bit of a different format than you might be used to seeing today. We've got 5 teams in the tournament, so single elimination, double elimination that we're used to wasn't really so fitting. So instead, we've got a round robin, which means all teams will play each other. And do you think that's going to lend some favours to some teams today, Conch?
Yeah, definitely. Momentum is obviously a very strong and crucial thing when it comes to games. And ultimately it will show off whether or not teams are strong at remaining consistent throughout every single match. Because they're obviously playing a lot more matches than you typically would in a single or double elimination, right? Because obviously you're playing every single team. So everyone gets a chance at their takes of different teams, right? So you might even be the worst team and beat the best team, but still be on the lowest of the bracket. It just shows that diversity, and it also just gives plenty of space for just improvement, error. Maybe you're a team that just gets better over time. You build yourself up that confidence, or maybe you're just a team that comes straight out the gates, absolutely slams, and then slowly tilts off, right? It slowly goes down. We don't really know, and this is why the round robin is very good, right? Because if you're a team that just is a very solid team at the start but slowly dwindles, this might not be the best place for you to be, right? Whereas if you're a team that slowly increases, this could be perfect for you.
Wow. We are already underway for the first series, game number 1 of this best of 3 between Twisted Rage and the Dream Team, and it was an early goal. If you just tuned in, it was a kickoff goal for the Dream Team. A little bit of pain for Twisted Rage, but it's been very, very tentative here in game 1, and both teams sort of sitting back and not taking too many risks.
Yeah, definitely. That early goal is going to be a very big pain, though, for Twisted Rage. As you said, just getting that early goal just allows you to have so much control. Now, as long as they remain in control of that ball, there shouldn't be much of an error. But there's a nice little shot coming back on through from the side of Orange, but unfortunately doesn't land anywhere. But Twisted Rage now going on the offensive. They're trying to get anything going, trying to work something in. But unluckily, it is good saving by Orange. And there's not much of an open they can find right there, but it is coming straight way back down. That's a second goal for Orange. Twisted Rage right now down 2. Not looking good, not a good start for them, but there is still plenty of time on the ball with 3:51. There's still some room to come back and smash the way back on through.
I think sometimes when you see with sort of the slightly lower level teams is that they're very hesitant, and we see that from Twisted Rage. Maybe one of the reasons why they've gone down is they seem a little bit scared to attack the ball and just go for it, and that hesitation is causing them to concede, and Dream Team happy to take advantage of that.
Definitely. I think the most important part, right, about this game is allowing, obviously it's just like normal football, right, where control is the most important thing, right? Possession of that ball is important. So if Twisted Rage just play an ultra defensive comp, yes, maybe it might slow the game down, but ultimately you're going to lose, right? Because the enemy team has that ball possession and they are able to do whatever they want with it, right? So what Twisted Rage need to do is they just need to get on it, start applying that pressure and not just giving up all this free space.
I think once you're 2 goals down as well, you don't really have too much to lose at this point. I mean, you're almost at the halfway mark, and you just need to throw yourselves in and get the challenges. But when you lack sort of the control on the ball, I think the important thing is you got to work on that positioning and your communication with your teammates. If they both go for the ball at the same time and they leave that net wide open, Dream Team are going to easily be able to sort of pick them apart.
100% agree. We just saw then, it's whenever the ball goes into close to the net, they immediately just swarm the ball in a defensive manner, trying to form any sort of protection they possibly can. And though that sounds pretty good, but what the problem is that when that ball then becomes clear, you've essentially got no follow-up because both of you are sat in the exact same position. So it's just an open goal, a free just hit back from Dream Team. And that's exactly what keeps allowing happen. Right now, though, it is in Dream Team's side of the court, which is perfect for Twisted Rage, and they need to try and break a boundary off. But as I keep saying, as soon as it goes into Dream Team's edge, Twisted Rage just don't apply that pressure still, and Dream Team are able to push it back over the Twisted Rage side. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. Twisted Rage just struggling to get any footing or any play or even any shots, for that matter, on goal.
Yeah, they're still held at 0 shots, and it doesn't bode well for them when they're trying to mount a comeback. And lucky there that one wasn't on target as Ellie falls off the ceiling of the goal, and the Dream Team inevitably make it 3-0.
Yeah, see, you're down 3-0, a minute 30 on the clock. It's not impossible. You have 30 seconds per goal, right? And I even though that seems kind of hard, especially for the way that they're playing right now, it can still be done. What they need to do is they just need to play aggressive, apply that pressure, as we keep saying, and just remain in possession. Don't play two defense. Don't get scared, and just play off one another. Don't both just swarm the ball when it comes straight towards you, right? Allow yourselves to get that set up, that play. We can obviously quite clearly see the Dream Team are quite these two players are players that probably know each other quite well, know their ins and out, whereas Twisted Rage are maybe just two friends who've just come together to try and participate in this, because the communication just doesn't seem 100% there, or at least them practicing together doesn't seem 100% there.
I mean, it's a good practice match, though. I mean, when I was ranking up in Rocket League and getting better at the game, I didn't really play sort of matches like this, proper like scrims or tournament games. And, having that competitive experience is always nice for these guys that are getting into it, because it's an experience that you don't get through, the game itself. And it's only with these sort of third-party tournaments organised that you get to experience stuff like this. And it's a lot more exciting, and I'm sure for these guys as well, to play on stream and be casted. It's an exciting moment for them. And I can tell that, Twisted Rage, this might be one of their first times doing such an event. And I can tell the nerves will be something that they're dealing with. And knowing that they're now at the moment 3-0 down, they've still got at least one more game to play. They will be thinking a lot about how they're going to go to that next game and try to at least get some kind of consolation from this series, because 4-0 got to be painful.
Right, and right now, if you are Twisted Rage, you've got two options, right? You either continue to play the way you are and just say, "Hey, listen, we're down bad. We're just in this for fun. Let's just keep playing for fun," or you can really come back with blood and really just gun for it, and just you got nothing to lose, as you stated a few times. You've just got to go. And I think that's just their best choice for the next game. This game is done deal. I mean, it's 5-0 now as you just let the goal open. Next game is the time to shine. It's the time to come right out there and really show what they've got and what they're made of.
Yeah, I mean, really, they just need to put any sort of warrior nerves behind. It's evident that the Dream Team mechanically and technically are the better side. I mean, they're more consistent with their touches and they've got better control. It's not just, in terms of team synergy or chemistry or game sense. Twisted Rage, this is a learning opportunity now for them to go into the next game and just try to throw everything they have at it, try and get some good hits on the ball, and you never know what can happen. Rocket League, like football, is a funny old game.
Yeah, definitely. And the most important thing that Twisted Rage need to do right now is they need to, not let this beat them up, right? You may have got, in some people's eyes, maybe thrashed, maybe ultimately just absolutely crushed, but there's still that space, and they just need to do it. Like, there is that potential at the end of the day. They're not impossible to beat, right? Everybody's not, so they just need to just show up now, and like you said, they've had this game now to sort of allow themselves really feel it out, get that nerves out of them, and this next game needs to really come off strong for them. Even if, to be honest with you, if Twisted Rage, if you are watching this, especially like later on or something like that, as a team, you're not bad, right? I mean, you're able to hold your own. What you need to do now for the future is you just need to enable yourselves a little bit more, just be able to sort of work it in and not, worry so much and just sort of go for it, because ultimately, 1 or 2 goals in this next one, even if you do get beaten 5, whatever, as long as you get 1 or 2 more goals, at least you haven't got worse, right? At least you've got better. So right now, if I was Twisted Rage, I'd almost be aiming for 1 or 2 goals, right? Just so that we at least know that, we can still compete on this level.
Yeah, they just want to, have something to be able to take over. So, well, we did score a couple. We didn't get completely run all over. At the moment, though, looking like could be some risk and some danger coming their way in the early stage of the game too. Well, they need to keep it level for as long as possible to keep their hopes alive, because I think if an early goal does come for the Dream Team, they're going to have some issues.
Definitely. I think the best play right here from Twisted Rage is just to keep that ball out of their side and just keep applying pressure over and over again, keeping that ball in the Dream Team's side. And then ultimately then, maybe like within like 2 minutes left, that's when you start playing aggressive. Right? Just try and whittle down the time so that there's less time for stuff to be set up. And as I say that, apparently I have Caster's Curse, as I'm sure most casters do. And there we go. That's the first goal for game number 2 from Dream Team, up 1-0 now. But it's still 4 minutes on the clock, so it's nothing to worry about right now. Twisted Rage can definitely still come on through and show what they're worth.
It was definitely a little unfortunate for Aidanseesthings. They didn't come off the better party in that challenge, as he challenged as last man, and Masson went on a little bit of a walkabout there, leaving his teammate a bit isolated in defence. And 1-0 for the Dream Team will put them up again as the favourites to take this game, and I don't think we doubted it too much coming in to game number 2. I mean, it was such a one-sided performance, and this one really should not be finding the back of the net. They've had a nightmare at the back.
And that's the thing. Like, just previously, before this had just happened, Twisted Rage actually did something pretty good, right? They had a sort of a nice shot. They tried to do something, but it was ultimately blocked by Dream Team and was sent back down their way, and then it just bounces over them and goes straight in the goal. Like, stuff like that you just can't have happen, right? You're going to fall into a lot of despair if you just allow that to keep happening. You know, right now, see what they're doing right now, this is perfect. But then the problem is they've sent so many people up that there's not that defense there anymore, right? And from the looks of things, they're not very comfortable at defending. They sort of like panic whenever the ball comes towards them, which is something they need to try and get out of their system.
Yeah, they do need to calm themselves down a little bit and just try and get themselves in front of that ball and just slow things down. You can see sometimes they're rushing, and that's causing them to have harder time. A nice little touch there from Masson, just taking over one, forcing it through the 50 off the crossbar. And that could have been one to remember for Twisted Rage.
That's literally what they would have needed right there. If they'd got that, I feel like the confidence boost would have came back on through and they could have kept on strong. They really just need to get something going. I feel like once the first goal comes on through, Twisted Rage will understand, hey, we've got this, we can do this, and ultimately then they'll be able to compete on a lot more stronger level. But you know, it's just whether or not that first goal is actually going to come on through at any point. Right now, the goal is a nice goal once again from the Dream Team. 3-0 up right now. It's not looking good for Twisted Rage, I must say.
Oh, he almost kept it out. You got to give him some credit. He almost was there in time. But yeah, I mean, what you said is 3-0. About half of the game gone, and once again, it is starting to get a little bit far away from Twisted Rage as they see that deficit keep on growing.
Definitely. Nice little touch right there to clear it on out, but, you know, just immediately, Dream Team are just on it immediately. Ooh. Not even allowing much pressure to come on through, but that's a nice goal. Well done right there from TTV. That was a nice little cross from the left side right there. Just tapped it perfectly. Misplay, I think, by FaZe. He was just a little bit short, and also Jaden Boy could have potentially have hit that if he was slightly out a little bit more, but nonetheless, you've got to give credit where credit is due. Well done, the Twisted Rage on their first goal of the set.
I think Masson just said he's had enough. He's like, oh, we've conceded 8 on the bounce, and I mean, we've got to get one back. We can't leave them all unanswered. But yeah, they get one back and now have a little bit of offensive momentum there as they try to push another one over the line, but just slightly too high for him. And Jaden Boy's able to get it out, and well, he breaks Masson's ankles there. It's a good challenge from Ellie to find Masson again in the corner. Is he going to be able to make a play from here? Trying to look inside, and the Dream Team actually panicking a little bit here in defense, but Masson does back all the way back to defense.
Yeah, that was a really, really good time for Twisted Rage. They played extremely well, and I just wish that we saw more of this type of Twisted Rage earlier on. And as I say that, unfortunately, Dream Team do get another goal, but, you know, I will envy Twisted Rage right there. That aggression was just something else, and that's just something they needed right from the get-go, and just like keep doing that, right? And then, you know, you saw someone get a little bit worried, and they fell back, and that's what ultimately scored Dream Team their goal, right? It's just that how scared they got and how much they fell back.
Yeah, well, it's just they just look a little scared sometimes to just attack the ball, as if they know that the other team is better and therefore they don't take risks. But when you're 4-1 down or 3-1 down, 3-0 or 5-0, whatever the scoreline, if you're losing, you have to go on the attack. You know, there's no point in doing any sort of damage control at this point, because if you lose this game, you lose the series.
Definitely a nice little wall bounce right there, nice little pinch to get it out into the centre, try and push away from their corner. And that's also a very nice set, potentially finish coming on through. And never mind, just bounces straight away in. And that's a second goal for Twisted Rage. You know what? It is possible 30 seconds, 2 goals. Though I must say, it's not looking likely. But you never, ever give up on someone. And I think Twisted Rage definitely could try it. But it is going to be a hard chance. But nonetheless, well in the Twisted Rage Dream getting these 2 goals. We've seen a lot more confident Twisted Rage coming on through. They should be definitely happy. And oh my god! They score a 3rd goal in what was a matter of like 2 seconds. They now have 30 seconds to work with to potentially get this next goal and bring this to OT. And if they do this would be absolutely huge. And honestly, something that I don't even think anyone would even expect.
Well, there's 2 things I hate about Rocket League, and one is when people get too excited for hitting the crossbar. Off target in my opinion. And the second one is kickoff goals. But in this case, we're such an underdog with a comeback story, which they have now managed to equalise the Dream Team. I don't mind it too much.
How on earth have Twisted Rage done this? You're trying to tell me in 32 seconds, the team that we were criticising, we were saying they're playing too defensive, they're too scared, have now had to just come out and smash, and they're now on
I took it personally.
Match point. Literally, how? 15 seconds on the clock, and if they keep this in play, it will reach OT, which is absolutely a perfect scenario for them, and something they just need to keep on top of. Oh my god, what a game so far from Twisted Rage. They have shown. Playing very defensive, they don't want to... Oh no, in a matter of a second, the demo comes on through onto Mason, and ultimately FaZe comes right the way on through, speeding on through and gets that goal. I mean, it's 5-4 right over a second on the clock. Unless Twisted Rage can keep this ball alive, it's looking like just at the nick of time, Dream Team come out of nowhere and ultimately prove that unfortunately, no matter what Twisted Rage do, they will remain on top. But nonetheless, that was a very good game from Twisted Rage, and they definitely shouldn't be disappointed with that, as they almost had the comeback.
You know what? I didn't think they were going to score a single goal, so I will give them commiserations for losing this series. The Dream Team, of course, were the stronger side across the 2 games. Oh, but what a nightmare they had at the end. He just got a little awkward, found himself reversing at the ball and had no chance of getting it away. Ends up getting completely demolished, and then the ball finds its way to the back of the net. Well... Closer than we may have expected that game too, but for that series that will be all. The Dream Team do come out 2-0, a little clean sweep for them. Before we head out to a break, just want to give a shout out to, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. We've been over it a couple of times, but Blaenau Gwent youth service, because this tournament is part of the summer of Fun for All Children and Young People in Blaenau Gwent, and so it's great that they are allowing these sort of things to be possible and allow for these 2 teams to be able to be casted, be on stream. We've got another game on the cards coming right up in round 2. We'll be watching X-Backpack versus CastsConch. Welcome back to the caster booth. What do you make of this upcoming game? Are you looking forward to it?
Definitely. I mean, what a game to begin with. Almost saw the comeback from Twisted Rage, but obviously just fell a little bit short. So I'm hoping we get some more close games this time and some more entertaining. Not to say it wasn't entertaining originally, but like maybe some more higher skilled, maybe some riskier goals. I would like to see some, some absolutely just crazy flips, resets, all that sort of stuff. I don't know what the Rocket League terminology is, so I'm just going to call them flips and resets because they're the only ones I know. But I would love to see stuff like that. I feel like it'd be amazing if we could see some just, rather than like trying really hard, being pro and stuff like that, let's just do some stuff, let's just start flipping, let's do some crazy goals.
Well, I have heard through the grapevine and also by the fact that Veins is playing for Backpack, I know that this game is going to be slightly higher level. And I've seen Veins last time he was out here on Esports Wales, or at least last time I was here, he put on a good show. And immediately right from the bat, it's a ceiling shot from X-Beta. and they really going to ask the question straight away from best of the best and put them under the cosh.
Well, happy days, that's all I got to say. They just scored off the wall, exactly like I was asking. Beautiful goal to immediately start the game. The real question is the momentum going to keep up, and what's Orange going to do to try and bounce on back? You know, that was a very quick goal, which is obviously good, but it just means there's a lot of time on the tables to work with. But we do see Tyler going for a goal off the wall, but a nice hit from Barter. I actually recognise Barter, actually. Last time I cast, I did actually cast for Barter. Now I think about it, but moving on. Barter then with a nice touch, just trying to keep it down in Orange's side, trying their best as possible. That's a nice setup by Veins. Absolutely amazing pass from Barter, just straight down the mid, and Veins only smashed it back on through, and that's X Backpack now 2-0 up. Pretty good lead, but there's still plenty of time on the board. 4 minutes and 23 seconds left on that clock.
It was a bit of a cheeky touch from Veins. He was able to sort of extend and delay that touch as long as possible, which made it super awkward for Tyler, and it meant he had to really react to it and didn't have time to do so, couldn't keep it out. But I'm feeling that Best of the Best have sort of put themselves a little bit on the back foot with just their team name alone, because they've now put themselves under pressure to actually perform to that expectation. And when you go 2 goals down within the first minute of game 1, they will be sitting there thinking, uh-oh, we've made a little bit of a fool of ourselves now. And knowing that they need to come straight back into this, they hit a third there, X-Backpack, as that one flew right over everyone, but just wide of that open net.
That literally could have been devastating right there for Best of the Best. I mean, that goal alone was going to be really good, but unfortunately not the best setup for Barter. But Veins is now going for a touch. He retouches it, but a nice save, to be fair, to Luke. He just be able to knock out the way, and oh my god, another great save as Barter hits it straight on goal, and Luke goes for a touch, now he's hitting it back up, but Veins is automatically back in for the fight and boots it straight out the way, and it's now all up to, I think it was Tyler, but unfortunately Veins hits it straight over the top of him, and that's another nice goal from X Backpack now to make the score 3-0.
Oh, definitely evident that there's a bit of a skill gap here between these two teams once again here in round 2. And I mean, Veins, for him, he's making it look like free plays, scoring goals left, right, and centre, and he makes it look easy when he does it. And, well, you could say the same for Beta. It's not too tricky for him either. Luke Waite there just miscalculating his touch. He does end up getting a decent block on Veins as Beta takes control of this, will look to pop it up, gets the bounce dribble, a flick to the backboard, defended a little weakly by Luke Waite as he can't really clear those lines. Veins trying to keep it close, got the flip reset, will he use it? Not sure if he actually got the reset. Might have been able to pop that ball over Luke Waite, but maybe got robbed in the final moments.
That was looking extraordinary. That was looking like that was the one. We do see Barter right now setting up all for Veins. Veins goes up for a nice touch, hits it straight over, but a nice save from Tyler's. Barter now tries to get some kind of wall bounce going as he tries to pinch the ball, but it isn't exactly the bounce he wants. But he does send it back on it, but Veins isn't ready as he goes back for the defensive, as it now goes in Best of the Bet's goal territory. So now Veins is going to pop it back the way on through and knock down their way, but Tyler's there to touch it back on through. To be fair, you know, the defense has definitely sharpened up a little bit more for Best of the Best, but they need to be getting these goals on in. And as I see that Bar goes for a nice setup, Veins goes for a flip in the air as well, but unfortunately both of them just fall a little bit short right there. But Veins once again goes for another set, hits the ceiling, pops it straight in, and that's a nice goal from Veins. He gets in the bottom right, a nice little pop-up from the front of his car right there to set it on through. That's now 4-0. And we only have 1:52 on the clock. It's not looking good for Best of the Best right now.
Well, it's a good-looking goal, but if you're Best of the Best, you've got to be saying to yourselves, we give them way too much time. That ball is floating and hovering in the air. He didn't touch it for a really long time, and yeah, sure, you had the flip, but if you're not going to jump and at least pressure him into taking that touch a little faster, you're giving him all the time to pick his spot, to use the flip when he wants, and they just will keep extending their lead. Now 4 goals up, and again, loads of space for Veins. He's allowed to wait for that ball to drop all the way down to the ground, catch it, and then go for the air dribble. Instead, you've got to be, if you're Best of the Best, you've got to be rushing out, challenging, closing down the space, because here they do it again. They abuse that space they've been given. Best of the Best waiting too long, they're not able to clear it, and Beta with a tidy little double tap into the bottom of net.
What a beautiful goal right there. Perfectly set up. Well executed. I think, like you said as well, the space was given. The boost wasn't in best of the best favour. Bar had that boost and he only just used it with no defensive capabilities from best of the best. And well, it's now 5-0 for X Backpack. And okay, a nice little touch right there from Tyler as it gets passed from Luke. And that's now 5-1. Could we see the start of a comeback? It is a minute, though, so it's very, very steep to get those 4 goals, but it's definitely plausible. And I'm going to hold my breath because the last time I said it's not possible, well, we all know what happened there.
I think the one thing is when you do have a golfing skill, one side can tend to get a little complacent, and definitely it was complacency that caused that goal just to inch best of the best back into the game. But with a minute left, I mean, you did say it yourself, should never call it impossible because funny things do happen, and that's the beauty of the game. But the odds are definitely stacked against best of the best. Would be nice to see them get a couple more consolation goals, perhaps, to give them a little bit of confidence and momentum heading into game 2.
Yeah, that would be perfect right now, but Veins pops it straightway over, hits the backboard, and that's Bar just to tap it in nicely. This team right now, X Backpack, are just here and showing up. What a nice little pop from Veins right there. But a nice little clear finisher on up. And like you said, I think it's just ultimately like the space, right? I mean, they're just allowing so much room to be done. And it's just ultimately just not in best of the best favour, right? If you allow them to gain this space. You know, these are teams, I'm pretty sure from the way I've seen Veins play and stuff like that, a lot of the time they seem to be players who are very complacent and they want the space, right? So they can set up their plays, get those plays going, get those plays rolling. And if you allow them to get those plays rolling, you're just going to have a hard time trying to do it, right? Because you've got to then try and deal with the mind games, which is obviously quite hard because essentially you're mind gaming yourself at that point because you've got to predict their mind games as well as your own. Only 8 seconds on the clock, though. They're going to try and get something working, but you know, this game is quite clearly going to X Backpack. And there it is, 6-1 to X Backpack. What a first game for them.
Well, there were times when it did look like they were doing a little bit of free play out there, and it must have hurt best of the best confidence when they saw them going at the ball the way they did and sort of just vibing with it in whichever way they'd like. One thing that best of the best can perhaps try to do going into game number 2 is to just go straight at the opponent instead of backing off and waiting to just immediately challenge quickly, because X Backpack at this point are used to not being challenged. They're used to the space, they're used to the time, so they will take it, and likely they could get caught in a couple of 50-50s and a couple of challenges if best of the best just go and attack them quickly. Whether or not they do that, we'll have to see. At the moment, X Backpack clearly the much stronger side.
Yeah, definitely. That was a very, very brutal start to the game, but best of the best definitely towards the end showed that they could sort of contest, and I'm hoping that sort of flies on through now going into our game number 2, and hopefully best of the best can keep up, try and keep the momentum going as much as they possibly can, keep the head up of that war. Potentially might even see a game number 3, but I'm going to call it now. I don't see that happening, and I do see a scenario where it's going to be basically best of the best losing and X Backpack winning, just because of the confidence on X Backpack is just too strong.
More than certain they are likely to be the top team here in this tournament. The 2 players that play towards the upper echelons, I would say, of Rocket League esports scene. You know, that of course it's still lower bubble, I would say, the area or the region of skill that they play, but given the teams in this tournament, that puts them at the top. Beta now switching sides with that ball, but Tyler Bobbs this time will go and challenge it and close it down, not allowing that pass to be completed as Luke Waite just about sweeps this ball out of the danger zone over to the corner. Of course, corner is your friend, and at the moment it is Tyler Bobbs coming forward. He's not able to beat Beta. That one might be sailing right in. It won't, but the follow-up is simple for a player of this quality.
I'm literally speechless off of that, because that literally should have been a goal for best of the best. It was looking that way, and then out of nowhere, boom, it goes right the way back over. Nice simple set. Bar gets it in. Happy days. And now we continue. 1-0, 4 minutes on the clock left. There's still plenty of room to work with, but like we said previously, once you've got the momentum swaying in your favour, that's when things become dangerous. And right now, as I say that, just a setup once again, nice simple tap from Veins, keep it nice and simple. And there we go, it's 2-0 now, and it's not looking good right now for best of the best. Right now, it's looking like X Backpack are the best, and maybe best of the best aren't. So,
well, X Backpack are flexing there, trying to find the double flip reset off the corner, and it's not like he really had much of an angle to work with. It was for the sake of doing it, and they've made best of the best, well, look a little awkward, as they're just not able to get up and challenge these balls. And you know, it's not like X Backpack are playing with pure speed, it's just the amount of control they have, and I think best of the best, they're hesitant, they wait on the line, they think, okay, we'll just try and save the shot once it's been taken, instead of getting up and contesting it as soon as possible. Backpack are just going to run riot here.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you in the essence of, you know, they're sort of like, oh, we'll just block the goal once it comes in, but then, you know, they're not accounting for the fact that if you allow them to have so much space and just allow them to, like, you know, as we said previously, mind game, if you just allow that to happen, it's just going to fall apart. And as I say that, boom, Bar gets another goal. All to himself, actually, a pretty greedy one. Knocks it straight to the left for himself, goes on the left side of that ball, knocks it straight through the right, straight the way in, and that's a beautiful goal. And it's now 4-0. And still 3 minutes and 20 on the clock.
Bit of a greedy one. He could have passed it 20 yards backwards and found his teammate again, knocked it about a couple more times, and, you know, involved each other, but he wanted all the glory for himself. 4-0, 2 minutes gone, and well, I'm not sure best of the best have much say in the result of this. For now, it's really just practice for them. The breezy from Veins, and it's just so free for him. A breezy, a shot you don't see very often because you need almost the entire pitch to set it up. But again, this just demonstrates the amount of space they're being given to play with.
I don't know much about Rocket League in terms of, like, the different, like, moves and stuff like that, but my God, did that look sick on screen? That was amazing. That was just such a perfect, well thought out goal, and another perfect thought out goal as far. He loves these shots on the backboard, I noticed. He loves going for them. He hits them straight up, hits the backboard, and then just goes to a retouch. He loves them. He keeps doing them, and they keep working, so, keep it going, I guess.
Well, you don't need to fix something that isn't broken, I guess. Half of the game, they're gone. Best of the best need to fix something. They wouldn't want to walk out of this one with 0 goals scored. That's way better from Tyler Bobbs. You know, it's good to at least be able to focus on some positives, and Tyler Bobbs there just challenging in the opponent's half instead of sitting off. And Luke Way, I think he had the right idea there. He's thinking, okay, I'm going to pop this one centre. Maybe my teammates following up, but this is again the fact that they are a little hesitant. They're aware of the skill gap, of the strength of their opponents, and they tend to back off and instead attack just one person at a time. Had he been there, had he been a bit close to his teammate, with a nice little attempted pass to the centre.
Just look at the confidence on X Backpack right now. They are playing just so well. Look at that. You know, we've been saying this whole entire game that what needs to happen is best of the best just need to get up in the face, and that's exactly what happens. We see Tyler try and contest Veins, but it's just the communication is so pure that what Veins does, he goes, oh, boys, come and fight me. As soon as someone comes rushing at him, he flips it straight the way over, and Bar's there just to put it in, and it's just tucked home. Very nice and tidy. 7-0 now, minute 50 left on that clock.
Oh, Beta with the free jump. Veins trying to find him with the flip he'd held onto. You can see they are just doing what they want, trying to hit some clips, perhaps. Something to post onto Twitter later on. Hopefully for Luke Waite and Tyler Bobbs, they're not going to be involved in too many of their clips today.
Nice little touch right there. Nice little clear then, though, by Tyler, to be fair, to try and knock it out of the way. Make sure that Veins doesn't have any free reign. And that's exactly what happened. And now that just starts. Just slowly put it on the line. And then slowly roll it on in. And then, of course, Veins got to steal the goal, because that's who he is.
You've got to steal goals. I'm sorry, but that's just, for me, if you're not stealing goals, you don't want to score, and everyone in Rocket League has to be an attacker. If you're an attacker, you have to score goals. Steal everything.
Oh, part of a nice setup here, but ooh, you know what? Fair play to Luke right there to meet him up in the air, show his aggression, not looking to try and block that goal as it comes back on down. As we said, just try to play aggressive. And well, it worked out in their favour. It's now down in their half, but Veins immediately takes control, and he's sent it right the way through, sends it down the mid, tries to potentially get some kind of touch on the go. Oh, that was just unlucky. We did see, I think it was Tyler up in the air with Veins where they're trying to contest it, as we do see here, but honestly, the bounce from Tyler ultimately set Veins for that next touch, right? We saw the flips come on through. He hit it straight the way back into Veins, which Veins was able to then flip it back straight into that goal. And it's now 9-0 to X Backpack. Right now, they are on fire. They are cooking with gas.
I think it just goes to show, the difficulty or the learning curve of Rocket League. I mean, these best of the best, they are at champion level, and champion level players on average have played somewhere from 400 hours to 1,000 hours. And still, their basic mechanics are not perfect. They're not fully consistent. You see how he flipped just a little early coming off that wall, which caused him to miss a more experienced player, or players such as Veins and Beta. They'll hold on to the flip as long as possible. They won't panic or hesitate. They'll wait till their car's lined up with the ball, till they're right in front of it, to use that flip and make sure they stay in the play. But the moment you flip, you lose all control of your car, and it's gone. And just goes to show how, even though there's not a lot of difference in terms of MMR between these two teams, the amount of hours between, say, Champ 1, Champ 2, Champ 3, and GC1, GC2, GC3 is so much, and you see that today, and it's just demonstrated here. 10-0 for Backpack, and that's got to hurt best of the best, and hopefully for them, they don't drop their heads too much going into the next game.
Yeah, definitely. For a second there, it was looking like another goal for X Backpack, but doesn't come through. But nonetheless, a great start for X Backpack. They are, like I said, they're just cooking with gas. And I mean, 10-0, that is something to write home about. And I mean, like you said, skill really does matter, right? As you said, the best of the best, some people might look at this and go, like, where were they? Like, they didn't do anything. Like, this isn't, like you would expect, if they're a good team, you'd expect something else to sort of go on, but nothing went on, and that's what sort of happened, right? But you've got to remember that it's not that team was particularly bad, it's just how much of a skill difference there is, right? It's not even like best of the best with bad players, it's just that X Backpack have just invested a lot more of that time, a lot more of everything into it, and their teamwork is just phenomenal. Everything all around, their mechanics were just outstanding, and well, they put on a show for us today. That is one thing for sure.
Yeah, they definitely put on a show. But on that note, we will take a short break from the show. So if you're sitting around and waiting for the next series, make sure to go grab your refreshments now. Go get something to drink, something to eat, because we will be back very, very shortly with round 3. Welcome back to Esports Wales. I know it was a short break, and we're going to be jumping straight into the next round, Conch. We're going up to see Best of the Best versus the Dream Team. Perhaps Best of the Best can get some redemption after the slaughtering they just received.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a lot more on their ground, so fingers crossed they sort of show up here and really show that maybe they can't be the best, but all time will tell, I guess. And I feel like it's a lot more of a fitting game for them, I mean, we kind of mugged them off in a sort of sense in that first game, with them being probably against one of the best teams in the bracket right now. So I'm interested to see what happens here. And immediately off the bat, that is none other than Dream Team immediately scoring within the first 26 seconds, which is pretty good. But as we always say, it is an early goal, so there's still room for improvement.
I would not have expected the Dream Team to take the lead here. I did think that Best of the Best were looking like the more skillful side from what we've seen from both these two teams in the previous 2 rounds. Tyler Bob's now setting that one up off the backboard. Luke Wade just a little bit too far behind. Maybe still slightly hungover and fatigued after playing X Backpack, but Luke Wade gets a play on 2 players there. All he's got to do is see this one through, and he will level up the score.
That is a perfect goal, and one that they needed as well. Making it now 1-1 really breaks off the pressure, right? You're basically now on a neutral playing field. You can sort of like do fancy stuff now and stuff like that. You're not having that burden of, oh, they're beating us, right? It's neutral now. So you can sort of go for the riskiest stuff. You don't have to play so maybe safe. So I'm excited to see now that these teams are back on neutral playing fields. What is exactly in store for us? We do see Tyler going for, looks like a little bit like a fake. Luke throws it over, and then that's Tyler hitting it in. That was a little bit of an awkward sort of goal. I don't think really anybody knew what was going on there. It was sort of just a bit of a mess. But ultimately, nice tidy away from best to the best. And you've got to envy it. They've come back, losing that goal straight off the bat, and now they up the goal. Still anyone's game, though, and I'm interested to see what happens in this next round.
A bit of a question or will attempt to clear from Jaden, as that one did come back into the centre for that goal. And as expected, and as I would have thought, best of the best, it was a little bit of a wake-up call, that early goal from the Dream Team, and now they've switched on those afterburners, and goal after goal coming on through in quick succession to make it 3-1.
Another great goal. I mean, you can't diss it right now. What a time for for best of the best. I mean, like you said, that first goal from Dream Team must have just really have just awoken them and went, oh, wait a minute, we have to try. And that's exactly what we just saw. They tried, and now the momentum's in their favour. They're 2 up, which means, there's a lot of room for certain things they can do, certain game plans they can do. And as I'm speaking, a great set from Luke, and Tyler just smashes straight away on through. It's now 4-1. Like,
you can see the way they're poised on the attack, can't you? They're like aware that the Dream Team are not very comfortable with the ball, and that they're going to make mistakes when the pressure is on them in their own half. And it is those mistakes that are happening that are leading to the goals of best of the best, as they keep extending that lead, forcing the error. 4-1 now, and that deficit keeps on growing. The Dream Team, not really the dream they may have expected. I'm not sure if these are the kind of dreams I enjoy having. It might be more of a nightmare.
I was going to say that, but nonetheless, a nice save right there from Jaden Boy. Very nice. It was looking like it was going to be another goal in the side of best of the best, but Jaden right there just awoken himself really quick. But as I say that, I speak too soon. Nice little set from Luke, hitting it just straight on up. And out of nowhere, Tyler comes out of nowhere and just absolutely batters the thing straight away on through. And that's another goal. And then I've got 4 goals. Dream Team right now just struggling to get anything going. And they really need to find it. And I ultimately did want to say this as well. I think what happened at the start of the game for best of the best is they come off that last game and they must have thought to themselves, oh, we've got to be careful here, boys. Like, this is a dawdle. And then they just sort of realised that, as you stated, once the pressure's being applied, they crumble, the Dream Team. So what they do is they allow to have that space, and that's sort of what happens when the pressure gets applied. They sort of fall out of tune with it. So I think that's exactly what's happened. Best of the best have realised that, and now they're applying the pressure on the Dream Team, and they're struggling to upkeep. But I will say this, since these last couple of goals, Dream Team are sort of performing a little bit better, trying to keep it away, but they're still playing a very risky game.
I feel like the way this one started, it's like best of the best said to the Dream Team, it's like when you go to the hospital and the doctor says, oh, don't worry, it's not going to hurt, and then they jab you in the arm, and it really does hurt. I feel like that's the way this series started. It was best of the best said, don't worry, guys, it's not going to hurt. Let the Dream Team get a goal, push them into a false sense of security, and then hit them exactly where it hurts. And it's just continuing on in that fashion since we've gone, and they've clearly figured out, all right, they're uncomfortable when we put it high, so just keep flicking it to that backboard, watch them jump and flail around, and jump and flail around they do to sort of no avail, and no avail there. Fortunately for them, Luke Wake missed out, and it's a big save from Jaden Boy to keep it out. They've woken up a little bit, the Dream Team there in defence, and done well to stop and hold best of the best in their tracks on offence. Definitely,
that was a hell of a touch. It was looking pretty promising then, but just a miss from Luke. Could have been huge, and FaZe right there, the nice little touch, trying to avoid Tyler Bob, almost sort of mind-gamed him a little bit, sort of slowed down the ball so he wasn't able to get like a clean shot, so he flies straight away past. And now it's ultimately down in best of the best net. But as I say that, Dream Team now struggling as it now goes back in their half. Tyler Bob looking for some kind of set, but Luke's not ready for it, so they're going to wait patiently. It's now in the corner. Luke's going for some kind of touch, goes off the wall, and now it's just ready to see what happens. Luke centers it to the mid. Tyler goes for a nice smash, and that's a hell of a goal, and a nice assist from Luke. And it's now 6-1, and I think it's safe to say the best of the best are taking this one home.
I wonder if we'll be receiving some messages from Best of the Best to ask us if we can scrub the last game from history, their game against X Backpack, sort of put it behind them and say, oh, just show this one, just keep this one. We don't need to see any highlights from our game against X Backpack. No, this one will do. 6-1 now, the 5-goal lead, and game one absolutely in the bag, nail in the coffin. It'll all be down to game two if the Dream Team can muster up any strength, if they have any remaining, to fight back.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the problem, right? Is whenever you're like a lower team, is you want to try and keep the momentum on the fly. You don't want to essentially succumb to sort of everything that happens, and you want to keep going with that momentum, but it's very hard to keep that when you get knocked back as hard as you possibly can. But I will say this from the Dream Team, when we watched them originally, they did sort of come back. So who knows, potentially you might see a little bit of something coming on through, and that's exactly what we need to see from them right now.
If the Dream Team win the next game, I will eat my shoe. I will actually eat my shoe. Honestly, I don't think they can do it, but if they do it, I would be impressed, and I'd be happy to eat my shoe. It would make me look like a questionable individual, and it would be embarrassing, and I would probably hate every single second of it, but I think they would deserve it. They would deserve me eating my shoe if they come back and win this next game.
All right, well, we're going to hold your word to that, and I hope now the Dream Team are going to actually come on through, because that would be a sight to behold. But the real question is
that was the dream they had, wasn't it? That was the dream. And now I know.
That was the dream, and hopefully the dream doesn't come true for your sake, but I'm sure right now Dream Team really wants something to come on through, and it's not looking like that dream is going to come to fruition as well. Best of the best come out immediately off the start, 8 seconds, and they score themselves that first goal.
I'm kind of hoping that Best of the Best aren't watching the stream, because if they heard me do that, they might have scored an own goal off the bat, but I'm thinking they've probably not got our voices on as they're playing, because I mean, I couldn't do that would distract me too much, and fortunately for me they might not be listening, because it does save me, I don't know, eating leather doesn't sound like a pleasant experience. I didn't really think it through when I said that I would do it, but I realised I'm locked in. Fortunately though, for me it's 1-0, and at the moment I'm dodging a dangerous bullet.
Definitely. I'm going to guess every single time it gets slowly and slowly closer to Best of the Bet's net, you just feel the taste of leather in your mouth, and you're hoping to God it just never comes to fruition. We do see Tyler try to set for some simple little play, but Luke just misses it. That's unfortunate for him. But nice clear from Tyler Bob, as both attackers were on his side, trying to gain that space as much as possible. Now Tyler Bob goes for another touch, but nothing there, because Luke has just come back for some boost down the bottom right, so nothing ready to follow up. Goes for some kind of wall bounce, trying to center things back on through. Luke was there ready, but a nice touch from FaZe, knocking it sky high, making sure there's no opportunity for a goal right there. Tyler Bob going for some kind of touch, but he does miss, unfortunately. Jaden Boyd trying to get something on the go, but Luke's just there ready to touch it back on through. He sends it back to Dream Team's way, and right there, that looked a little bit fishy. To be fair, I think the plan there was for Luke not to hit the ball and for Tyler to sort of smash it back, but of course the communication didn't come on through. But it's an open net right now for Luke, and it's a perfect shot for him. And there we go. Luke tidies it away, and it's now 2-0 to them. And well, this is looking evidently more like Best of the Best game once again, and doesn't look like you'll be eating a shoe anytime soon.
Well, we do say the proof is in the pudding. The pudding is in the ball, and the pudding is all over the Dream Team's face. And I definitely like the idea of eating pudding a lot more than eating my own shoe.
I mean, I think anyone would. But nice little touch right there from Tyler Bob, trying to center things on back on through, sending it down the mid once again. Luke is there, ready and anxious, but he hits the crossbar. That was just very unlucky. But Tyler Bob's got another shot of a goal. Both players from Dream Team immediately missed the ball, and it's just so perfectly set up for Tyler Bob as he just picks up that boost, sees an opening, smashes it right there on through. It's now 3-0. Devastating for the Dream Team, but very well done to best of the best.
I mean, I was going to compliment them at one point because I was thinking, it took them a while to break. Once they got that 1-0 goal, they didn't break for a while. They were holding on, and it was somewhat valiant. And I thought, well, given the skill difference, to have not conceded, either best of the best are really not making the best of their chances, or the Dream Team really are just sort of picking up. And it is in moments like these, I found that when you play against teams that are a lot better than you, or, I mean, even from my own experience, when I go and play in tournaments myself, I'm not very good at Rocket League. And when I do come up against a top player, I tend to learn a lot just from that one series, and you can improve so quickly by participating in these things. It's a good opportunity for the Dream Team, and you see that there. Great shot coming from FaZe Fishy. I mean, something we didn't see at all from him in round one when we saw him play. Now, actually able to put some pressure on and create a little bit of danger and ask some questions.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like what you're seeing right now is a completely different Dream Team. They've sort of gone, we're losing, let's just switch up our game plan, let's just play very aggressive, and that's sort of what they did, and it's still working out for them. They've had a lot more chance of some shots, and that's what you just need to do, is keep applying this pressure. Now, we keep saying that today, I've noticed. That teams just need to keep the pressure on. Don't get scared, don't get worried, keep it on, and as I'm talking, Luke tidies it away, and that's another goal for the best of the best. 5-0 up. It's got to be devastating, but 2 minutes can be possible, but it's not looking likely.
I think what's been proven more and more in the EU Rocket League scene is speed wins, and while Rocket League is in some ways a game of space and technical ability, skill, speed is what often makes the difference, and you see that coming through with a lot of the top teams in the world, like Team Kesso, a team that has been putting on incredible displays in RLCS in the last couple of competitions. They play with pure speed and just forcing players into mistakes, and if you're faster than your opponent, you get to the ball before them, and you get to dictate what happens, and perhaps you don't hit the ball with any specific plan or idea, but you're the one hitting it and not the opponent. And it's in the case like this when you see the golf in skill, it's not just in the control, but it is also in speed, and it's just that best of the best can beat them to the ball more often than not. And it was the same when we watched best of the best against Backpack. It was that Backpack had all the speed, and when you end up sitting on your line or sitting back in defense, hesitating, you don't get into the challenges early enough, and you get walked all over. 7-0 now. I'm wondering if best of the best will let one in for the Brazil meme.
Maybe, but all I gotta say is, the first game looked a little bit brutal, but this one is looking like a slaughter right now. Best of the best, we sort of critiqued them for their name, best of the best, very, very funny name in a sort of sense of that they lost that match that we saw last time. So, now they're showing that potentially they could be the best of the best. As I say that, Luke once again smash on through 8-0. This man is on fire, man. Luke has absolutely been playing insane so far. And he just keeps shows up every single time, gets these goals in. Oh, this is an absolute slaughter. And unfortunately for Dream Team, best of the best, are going to be taking it home.
Well, 1 minute to go, and conceding that last one with an own goal. And I mean, Fishy at least tried to bump him off the ball. Got good connection on the bump. Just forgot that the ball was going to be the next thing in the way, and just punted it into the back of his own net. I mean, to be honest, I do that a lot myself, and it's not something you really get too much better at it. I mean, I've got thousands of hours in this game, and own goals are my specialty. But 9-0 now and 35 seconds left. Just asking the referee to blow the whistle early.
Definitely. Will we see, though, the 10-0 that was given to them last game, right? I mean, X-Backpack in with 10-0, so let's see if they'll get a 10-0 as well. See if they can sort of bring on the same energy right here. I'm sure, as you stated last time, this is probably going in a few videos, right, for their Twitters. The goals, the consecutives, I mean, just overall, the play from best of the best have been very solid in this game, and it is a shame for a team like the Dream Team, because they're not bad. Like we keep saying this, they're not bad players, but it's just the difference really between skill is so high. Like between a rank, you would expect that to be not that much of a skill gap, but there is a very big gap between those skills, and I mean it's evidently showing here.
I mean, I just respect the fact that they've been walked all over 2 rounds in a row, and now again here they're being completely annihilated. But they've got the right mentality. They keep playing the games. A lot of teams forfeit. I mean, I've seen professional teams lose a couple of games and then forfeit. So the fact that they keep showing up and playing just shows that they understand they're not up to the skill level, but they're happy to be here. They're happy to be a part of it, and they're happy to play against some players at a higher level and try to learn from that.
Definitely. I mean, like, regardless of what happens, as you said, it's a very big learning curve. And I'm sure they probably learned a lot from it, and I'm sure they can go back later on and learn a lot from it. Regardless, even if you lose 10-0 like they just done, you still come back strong. You still understand. You try and learn from your mistakes, and you just hope to God that, your next games are going to be a lot more fortunate in your side. But I mean, it is unlucky, but nonetheless, well played by them.
Well played indeed, and it's another round that we've gone by. If you've just joined us, that was round 3 of the Gwent Rocket League 2v2 Cup. Teams are playing for 2 Esports Wales jerseys, and a big shout out to Blaenau Gwent Youth Service, as this tournament is part of their summer of fun for all children and young people in Blaenau Gwent. Coming up now is round 4, and we've got 2 teams who are battling for a spot in the final. Flower Pot Men and Best of the Best are one of the favourites to be joining what would likely be X-Backpack in the final. Conch, do you have a favourite coming into this one?
Well, I feel like we've followed Best of the Best for a while now. These last 2 games have been with them. So, maybe I'm a little bit more favoured on them, but I am interested to see how Flower Pot Men do, because we haven't seen them play yet. So, it really just depends, I guess. But, I have confidence in Best of the Best. I've seen them grow, and I'm quite enjoying what they're putting out. So, maybe I'm more of a leeway towards them, I would say.
Well, Best of the Best definitely have got a little bit of momentum with them, carrying it into this round, as they had a very convincing win, but they concede and go down after 2 seconds. A kickoff goal. We hate to see it. You don't love it, but CastsConch will get the first goal of the game.
I mean, 2 seconds in, and we've got a goal. That's telling us one or two things right now. It's telling us this is either going to be an absolutely amazing game, or it's going to be a very one-sided game. And I'm hoping it's choice number 1. But we do see a nice little set from Cloudy right there, but Tyler Bob trying to clear it, but doesn't really get the right bounce, and CastsConch's going for another set. Oh, just right over the top of Luke, and it goes straight in. What a second nice goal from CastsConch right there. 2-0 right now. Not a particularly good start for the one and only Best of the Best.
Well, Luke Waite was a player that you were singing high praises for in the last series. Unfortunately for him, that one's gone in off him, and I think what all the youngsters, the term they'd be using lately is Spain without the S for him. 2-0 goal could prove to be very, very painful. Fortunately, in favour of Best of the Best is when you do go down as early as they do by 2 goals, you've got plenty of time to come back into this. A very intelligent flick, and just in the nick of time to keep that one away from danger. But Flower Pot Men at the moment, the ones being besieged, finally finding a route out and a nice passing play through the middle.
A nice save right there from Tyler Bob, but it's just immediately bounced on back, and the crossbar does get hit as Cloudy has some kind of setup on the go. Tyler Bob potentially going for some kind of play right there, but he falls out of it, right? Even though we all knew that CastsConch was going to be able to clear that, right? He should have just still kept on top of it, right? He should have pulled back. That's a nice goal, though, from Tyler Bob, a nice set from Luke. And like I said, this team, Best of the Best, can play well, but they're just respecting boundaries too much. Just play, just go, like we've been saying all day. Play fast, play well, play hard, and you will come up with the results. Don't be scared and be like, well, he's got the touch. I'm going to let him have the space. Apply that pressure. Make them uncomfortable. Don't give them any space to be comfortable, because we know what happens when that does happen.
Well, 2-1, just the one goal in it. Not for long, as they run into some trouble here, running into some traffic, and well, this is always going to be an awkward one, as Luke Waite's only got one way to go, and it's straight across his net. Cloudy right in the way. It's only going to ricochet in off of him. Still, the 2-goal lead remains, despite all of the hard work to pull one back for best of the best. Right now, the team that's put themselves up against it by naming themselves best of the best are falling to Flower Pot Men here in game 1 after a minute and a half played. 4-1 is where we're at.
Honestly, I think what ultimately just fell off that goal right there for best of the best was how slow it was coming towards the net, right? Typically when a goal is scored, it comes quite quick, so you kind of want it to come quick so you can bounce it back, right? But ultimately what happened there was it came down so slow, and they just didn't really realize, they didn't really recognize the pan, because it's not used to slow goals coming in. And ultimately just let it just bounce around and just go immediately in, which is quite unfortunate. But a nice save from Tyler Bob to knock it out of Sis God's hands. And it's now a play by Luke. Luke crossed it from through, but just send it down the bottom right corner, but that's just immediately going to get touched on out. But as I say that, Tyler comes out of nowhere and immediately knocks it back on through. Cisco now, though, with the control, and this could be unfortunate. Cloud does take it as Tyler Bob knocks it straight up. iCloud sends it on through, and oh my God, that wasn't even looking like it was going to be able to get converted into a goal, but never doubt Cloudy. He just does it, and he converts whatever he wants into a goal, and evidently there he does that. It's now 5-1 with 2 minutes 48 left on this clock. It's looking like it's wearing down for best of the best.
I mean, it's tough for best of the best, because after seeing the majority of these goals from Flower Pot Men, they've not really outplayed their opponent. It's just come from mistakes from best of the best. We saw there for that 5th goal, Luke Waite, the turn that he made on that near post out on the backboard, just put him in such an awkward position, because he ended up facing himself towards the corner. You're not going to be able to get out and make a save across net from that position. You've got to be poised well. Your starting position needs to be good, and they need to cut these silly little mistakes out, because this is a team and a game which they can compete in. This is a level which they should be able to keep a little closer. At the moment, the 4-goal deficit is very, very painful, and perhaps even, you might say, a little unfair. But it does come from their own little mistakes at the back. Siscod, they're just making things super awkward. It's not a good clear from Tyler Bobbs. He gets bumped away from Cloudy. Somehow that ball's not gone towards net. It's stayed out. Luke Waite gets a demo downfield. Cloudy again, though, he's first to this one, and he's got plenty of boost to work with to get it back on the offense.
I mean, what an amazing play right there. And a great save from Luke out of nowhere. Very hard touch for Cloudy. Just as the players from Best of the Best go back for that boost, trying to get some boost to try and work with something, Cloudy goes, you know what? I'm just going to pass it on through. And I think, once again, it's just the pressure that's constantly being applied by the Flower Pot Men. It's just so hard for them. Just like, this constant worry of where our position, I would say, and I would argue that right now Flower Pot Men's positioning just completely outweighs Best of the Best positioning. And I mean, it's just showing, like you've said, it's not particularly that anyone's outplaying anyone. The skills are very similar. This is stuff they should be able to compete with, but it's similar because of the positioning. It's just falling flat for Best of the Best, and ultimately just the amount of space and the amount of work that's been put in from Flower Pot Men is absolutely phenomenal, and it's really showing on through.
It's just some decision making. Again, you mentioned it. It's the pressure that they have to deal with. Some maybe some forced errors, but it's also leading to unforced errors, because they know they're being dominated now. They know they've let this one get a little too far ahead of them. And you see how they're playing out. They're flipping into the ball unnecessarily. They're not keeping the ball close. They keep handing the ball back to the opposition. Their clearances are going through the centre instead of out wide, and it's just setting up shots over and over again for the Flower Pot Men. 8-1. They're not too bothered about the Brazil meme. They let that one go and make it a 7-goal lead.
Now in possession with the ball, tries to knock it over to Cisco. Cisco just about misses. Goes in the back right corner. Tyler trying to clear it to some extent. Misses the ball, but lucky enough Luke's able to pick up the scraps. But because it was scraps. It wasn't exactly the most perfect touch for him. A nice little pinch right there. And that's going straight the way in. Cloudy, explain to me this. How does Cloudy get away with doing something like that? He pinched it completely off of the back of, I think it was Luke. And he goes straight forward, instantly in. And it's now 9-1. And my God, I keep saying this, but Cloudy just converts goals that shouldn't be goals into goals. And I'm absolutely speechless. CastsConch, immediately off kickoff, kicks off, boom, hits top of the net. Tyler Pop tries to go for a save. He was expecting it to come in, not actually hit that top board. And then ultimately, CastsConch just goes, well, now that you're up high, you haven't got that much control. I'm just going to go straight on in. And that's exactly what we see happen. It's now 10-1. My God, it's not looking good for best for the best.
Yeah, 10-1 is difficult. I mean, they were on... They had this kind of a loss in their series against X-Backpack, and they had a win like this in their last series, and you would have thought perhaps they've got a bit of momentum and a bit of confidence, and sure, they get a goal now and a bit of consolation, but I don't think this is going to be enough consolation to build up the kind of momentum that they will need to go into Game 2 and cause an upset to the Flowerpot men. I think Flowerpot men are very much in control.
Yeah, you could just tell how comfortable they are just by the way that they're sort of like positioning themselves and, sort of like knocking the best of the best out of position. And as we see, like once again here, the defense that's coming out from best of the best, they're going back to the same routes they had when they versed X-Backpack, where instead of trying to play aggressive and try and hit the ball, they just sort of sat in the net and just hoping that they can just sort of knock back everything they possibly can. But obviously that's not the right way to play. You want to play aggressive. You want to keep up that aggression to try and knock that ball out of the hands of these players. The ball is still being touched right now. They're living as long as possible, but Reggie gets knocked down and Flowerpot men will take match number 1. We do have a second one, so those crossings go a little bit more better for best for the best, but right now, it's looking like Flowerpot men are running home with it.
Yeah, I would say running home is exactly the right way to put it, because, well, actually, they're kind of like strolling, because you think the more goals they score, the longer the game takes, so they are taking their sweet time with it. They could, score a couple and then just drive the ball around the field, knowing that they've done it, but I'm sure any team would want to score as many as they can, right? They want to get the clips, they want to have the bragging rights, they want to see those goals to their name, and knowing that they've scored 10-2 and they've probably put the series to bed, because that's surely got to be a painful pill to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And, it's just unfortunate, like you said, because best for the best is like, they're not even doing that bad, but it's just like the position. And like I said, they've just gone back to the same routes they had against X-Backpack, where they've all of a sudden just started playing this very defensive game and sort of not started to pick up the aggression, giving so much free space. And, if you give people space, they'll work with it. And, as I said, there's so many conversions that are happening that shouldn't be conversions by Flowerpot men, but they still get converted into goals.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how hard they lose or how many games they lose. They could have gone into this tournament and lost all of them, and you can't take it away from them. No matter what, in the end of the day, they're still the best of the best.
I mean, that's very, very true. They are still the best of the best, and I'm hoping that this is a learning curve for them, and I'm hoping that the next time we do see best of the best, maybe it's in another tournament or something like that, I'm hoping they really do come out and they show us that they are the best of the best.
I mean, I'm actually quite honoured today to be sitting here casting on Esports Wales on this 2v2 Gwent Summer Cup, watching the best of the best, because of all my time casting Rocket League, I've cast all these teams out there, but I've never cast best of the best, and it's really an honour to be casting the best of the best.
I can agree. I mean, one of a kind, right? I mean, best of the best, one of a kind. Who thought that today, when we woke up, we'd be casting the best of Rocket League?
I mean, I didn't expect it. I heard from Esports Wales, said, okay, we've got a tournament going on. Be great to have you cast. I said, I always love casting your tournaments, but if I knew best of the best was going to be here and I was going to be casting best of the best, I would have said, no, forget my rate. I'll pay you. Because I want that opportunity. I want that experience. And I'm here. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. They're 2 goals down, but they're still the best of the best.
Exactly. And that's all that matters, is your mentality, and that's sort of like what we're trying to drill in right now is that, you could lose right now. They could honestly lose 15-0 right now, but at the end of the day, as long as you believe that you're the best of the best, you're the best of the best in everyone else's eyes, right? I mean, you can't break it down and say they're not best of the best, because they quite literally are the best of the best.
You can't argue it. Nothing can stop you from that fact. Nothing can change that. It's written sort of in history, and it's kind of a 200 IQ play. If I'm completely honest, if you want to go and be the best at something, just call your team best of the best. I mean, it's as simple as that. But you know what? They've called themselves best of the best. They got completely run amok in game 1. They dropped 2 goals here. And now they've got 1 back. It's just a 1-goal deficit. And as long as you call yourself that and you keep believing in yourself long enough, you get some reward. And here again from the kickoff, just causing a little bit of pressure. Flower Pot Men, really, I don't think they know what they're up against.
I mean, it is quite literally the best of the best. And they've scored a goal now. And the deficit isn't too big. I mean, it's only a 1 goal. And you know what? I would love to see right now best of the best come on through and really show off their potential, because we've seen their potential. We know how they can play. They just need to start cracking on with it, and they really need to show up now. If there's any time to show up, they need to show up now.
I've got more questions as well. I mean, Flower Pot Men, they've been great today, but I'm a little curious because I'm moving house in a couple of days and I want to get some plants. I'm wondering, do they sell flower pots? Are they men who are also flower pots? Do they wear flower pots on their head? What does it mean to be a flower pot man? Are you like a flower pot salesman, or do you just really like flower pots?
Yeah, or maybe they're just made out of flower pots.
Are they similar to bananas in pajamas?
Potentially. I know there is. Maybe they got their inspiration because there is a kids' TV show called it's called something and the Flower Pot Men. So maybe that's where their inspiration's from.
Okay, maybe I'm too boomer for that one. I may have missed out. I am rambling along, thinking I'm making a funny little segue, and turns out I'm actually I don't know anything.
In that show, they are flower pot men. They're actual, their heads are flower pots. So.
Oh, it's Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men.
Yeah.
Oh, I do know it. Oh. Why don't they call Bill and Ben? Now I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
I Cloudy X and Siscod, the Flower Pot Men. It doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
They need to rename themselves Bill and Ben. I mean,
I didn't expect them to be so good at Rocket League.
I mean, how do you move flower pots to control stuff?
Do they have thumbs?
Yeah, in the lore of Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men, do they even have limbs?
Wow. I mean, perhaps they work with special effects, because I know special effects are a gaming charity that does help players that have disabilities to actually play Rocket League, and I believe there's a player they're helping who is SSL now, and he's got this really cool contraption built onto his controller to allow him to play. And there's no excuse now for teams or players when they say, I can't get out of champ or this or that, because anyone can nowadays, and it's really incredible the kind of stuff that people are doing to enable gaming for everyone.
That reminds me of a guy. I can't remember his name. I always forget his name. I think it's Broly Legs or something like that. But he plays Street Fighter with his mouth. I'm sat here and I can just about use my thumbs to play Street Fighter, And this man's out here using his mouth, and he's like a pro player. And I'm like, how? It's nuts, the things that people could do and the talent that can really be shown,
It's incredible stuff. Well, incredible stuff here at Esports Wales 2v2 when Rocket League Cup as Flower Pot Men make it 5-2. And you know what? This has been a closer affair, this game too. Best of the best staying a little bit more in this one. It's not as one-sided But when we see the fact that Flower Pot Men, and unfortunately not Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men, Syscon and iCloudyX Flower Pot Men, have got 9 shots on to just the 5 for best of the best. But glad to see it's a little bit closer. However, I think at this point and moment, I mean, I won't say anything until the Fat Lady sings, but I do think it will be Flower Pot Men up into the finals with X Backpack.
Yeah, which I'm quite interested to see. It shows that we get again a new game we haven't seen yet. Even though I would have loved to have seen best of the best, of course. Coming up there, fighting, trying to fight for that championship once again. We did watch that happen, and it was annihilation. So fingers crossed, Flower Pot Men can maybe stand more ground, especially from this. Right? I mean, they're playing quite well in this, so fingers crossed. Off the back of this, we can have a proper good best of 5 for the finals. Flower Pot Men versus X Backpack.
Well, the Flower Pot Men may not be able... the best of the best may not be able to play in the final. They still remain best of the best. No one can take that away from them. Not even us. Not even the Flower Pot Men. Flower Pot Men can beat them 2 games back to back. They can't change the fact that they're still the best of the best. However, it will be very likely that after round 5, we will have the final. We still have one more round, but it is very likely that Flower Pot Men and X Backpack will be playing in the finals. Of course, there is still bragging rights up in round 5 for the teams that are still participating. But for now, guys, we're coming up into round 5 to see tournament favourites X Backpack up against the Dream Team. It's not been a great day for the Dream Team, has it, Conch?
No, definitely not. But hopefully dreams come true this time around. And, I think even if Dream Team somewhat put up a fight, I feel like this will be very, very good for them. They just need to try and stick in there as much as possible.
Well, they have to at least try. But I think no matter how hard they try, X Backpack are going to run amok here. It's going to be incredibly one-sided. But it only makes sense for us to see X Backpack play one more time before we inevitably see them up in the final. There could be a breakaway here. Little awkward for Vade. He's touched it towards his own net. And the Dream Team will actually get the first goal of the series.
Why are we dissing Dream Team? They are the Dream Team at the end of the day. Dreams do come true to some people, and right now the dream is in full fruition. And my God, how have they just done this? Off the start, we had a couple of missed goals, from the side of X Backpack. There's a couple of chances, and out of nowhere, bang! First goal, the Dream Team. Now, though, as I say that, X Backpack picking up the slacks, Veins with a nice touch right there from the backboard, straight the way in. Absolutely beautiful from them.
Well, a wake-up call. I think we saw that happen before with the Dream Team getting a goal early on. And then their opponents just responding immediately. Backpack, I think they're going to be upset that they've conceded. Oh, wow. That ain't it. That's not the passing play you want to do.
That's an unlucky. That's a very big unlucky, and I'm sure that wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened. My God. Oh, what a shame from them. But I mean, it's only 2-1. It's early days yet. The dreams are still alive and still on the go. So fingers crossed that this remains.
Well, X Beta outplaying everyone through the centre, making it 3-1. Jaden Boy not able to do anything with it, can't get it away, actually jumps over the ball. And Fishy coming in at a completely wrong angle. Beta could just walk it into the net.
3-1. I thought Dream Team, they come out of nowhere. They actually pop off first goal, and we're seeing the cracks start forming. And well, what a team to exploit them than none other than X Backpack. You leave those cracks and they will find it, and they will rip those cracks open into big holes. And we're seeing that happen right now as we do see Veins get a separate. Nice touch from FaZe right there. FaZe Fishy does go for a nice little clear, knocks Veins out of the way, so his setup isn't perfect. And that's exactly what was technically needed right there, but it just looks like a bit of a struggle for X-Back right now, trying to get these goals in. they're trying to go for somewhat fancy goals, and it's not really paying off for them as well. They could be getting a lot more goals if they just went for standard old goals. But I'm guessing they want to, switch things up a little bit, give us a bit of a show, and maybe give a bit of a chance to the Dream Team to learn a thing or two against people who want to try and do flashy goals.
I think for Beta and Veins, I mean, it's a good opportunity to treat it as sort of like a slightly spiced up free play. And they're able to try out the freestyles, and maybe they'll get to save a clip or score a clip that they'll be able to upload to Reddit, get the upvotes, and get that internet claim to fame. But at 3-1, they've only got the 2-goal lead. Having said that, I think they're also aware that the more they score, the longer it drags on, and perhaps they want to administer a quick fate to the Dream Team.
Yeah, I would imagine so. They don't want to drag it on too much, as well. I'm fairly certain that we all expected when we came into Zex Backpack we're going to win. So, maybe going for those flashy plays is ultimately, sort of giving an opportunity to the Dream Team if they want to try a little something out, or also slows down the game a little bit, and like you said, get some clips on the go potentially. But I mean, as we were saying this, Bar just absolutely backs the ball. I don't even know if that was even a thing in Rocket League, but here we are. We've seen it all today, folks. What a goal.
Well, 5-1, 2 minutes to go in here in game one. Beta going to knock this one long. Fishy waiting on the net. Something we've talked about, and you don't want to wait for too long. And he did go, and he took it away from Beta. It's good to have that confidence up against a player that by no means should be losing that challenge to you. So it's good for him to see that, well, he's learning as he goes and improving his play, going into those challenges a little bit more hastily and with a little bit more, well, venom or spice to just have that confidence to back himself. Veins here wants to keep it close, and every time he gets on the ball, he's looking for the wall because he wants to play that off. He wants to go for an air dribble, looking for flip resets, looking for the ceiling shots, or to line one up with Beta, who will inevitably pre-jump for the freestyle. But you can tell at the moment they're just knocking the ball from one side to the other and letting that clock run down. I think as much as they enjoy scoring goals, hitting clips, they also want to just go into the finals and get this thing done and dusted.
Yeah, definitely. Also, you don't want to waste all your momentum right now on, potentially like, just like going around like try harding constantly. So what they're probably doing as well is they're probably giving themselves like a little bit of a break in this game. So taking the game nice and easy and slow, having a casual drive around, shoot a few goals, see if they hit, practicing maybe their mechanics a little bit, getting ready for this final game. And it is just unfortunate that Dream Team have to be the stepping stone that is that that sort of warm up for the finals.
I mean, it's one last sort of rodeo before they go into the most important game of the day. Of course, teams up with a chance to win some Esports Wales jerseys, and I've had a look at them myself, and they do look kind of nice. I think they are available on the Esports Wales web store, so if you're interested in one yourself and you're not participating, always go take a look over at the web shop. They are looking quite nice.
Yeah, definitely. And also, stay tuned to the Discord server, have a look around, and who knows, there might be another tournament in the near future where you can win yourself some pretty cool prizes, such as the jerseys are offered today. I know, we've done in the past, like headsets and stuff like that. So, it's definitely worth having a check around, joining in for some of the tournaments just for some fun, and essentially, who knows, you could be up here versus a team like X Backpack in the finals, potentially winning yourself some prizes. So, come on through.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, watching this tournament, you're not participating yourself. Why not? Get in to sign up, because it's super easy to do so. And of course, if you just tuned in, this is the Rocket League 2v2 Gwent Cup by Esports Wales. And of course, a shout out, and I'm going to try it again. I think it's the Blaenau Gwent youth service. This tournament is part of the summer fun for all children and young people in Blaenau Gwent. So it's great that these guys are able to get out on the field, play and enjoy this Rocket League event, get on stream and get casted. It's always a good experience and a good laugh. At the moment, it's ex-Backpacker having all of the laughs, though. 6-1 here in Game 1, heading on into Game 2 with plenty of confidence.
Definitely, I'm excited to see what's going to come into fruition right here. If we're going to see maybe them continue to play the way they just did, where they sort of play in a slow sort of state, or they're just going to try and get this one on the way and just absolutely just start bombing it. Maybe try and score a little bit more to potentially build momentum. But I'm going to expect a very slow game, just so they can whittle down that time even more and just get on to that finals as we keep going on about.
Well, we are underway for game number 2. I'm assuming the last game of the series. The demo coming out from beta that allows Veins to just roll this one in. And he was flexing again his muscles, just showing what his car control's all about as he goes for that low air dribble, looking to let this one land back down so he can pop it up. Doesn't quite finish the move, I think, the way he intended to, so shouldn't be flexing too hard, because you got to make it look good and finish the deed if you're going to try and pull off those moves.
Definitely. Bart now going for some kind of play, knocks it straight on up. Tries to centre on through. I think he got a bad touch right there, but nonetheless, he tries to pass through the mid, but Veins isn't confident enough, so he doesn't take it. Instead, he waits patiently, and his ball comes straight towards him. He knocks it back into the right side, and is now setting himself up for a nice play. Bart keeps trying to come out of nowhere right there. Veins trying to give himself a double touch, and unfortunately, neither of them have managed to score that goal. So, still up there for the Dream Team as they try their best to live on. But so far, it's not so good, but, you know, Veins looking kind of confident, knocks it straight back on up, centers it for Bar, unfortunately doesn't take it though. Does notice there is a player, I think it was Jaden Boy, who was sat in the way, so it wasn't exactly the best play for him to try and go for. Bar tried to go for some kind of pinch then on the floor, try and launch it straight way forward, but unfortunately doesn't get it how he wants to, and it is knocked away by the side of Dream Team. Veins now trying to set something up, knocks down the mid, can Bar finish it off, and he does, with an amazing finish right there, right from the top, knocked it straight down the mid, easy stuff, straight the way through for Bar. And that's now 2-0 for ex-Backpack.
Once that last defender had gone and completely whiffed his challenge, it was only an easy touch into the centre for Veins to drop that down for his teammate, extend that lead to 2 goals and solidify the statement they're making here in this final round before heading into the finals. They extend it again here with another simple, well-worked goal by Veins, popping this one up for himself. Getting the extra touch, not as clean as he might have liked. I think he was going for the air dribble, but either way, it's in the back of the net. 3-0, and still 3 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock.
I mean, what a beautiful goal by Veins right there. I mean, wow. Like, it always, impresses me, these players, on how well skilled they are. It is absolutely amazing to see them just, with their the fidelity of their moves and how they're able to control everything. It's just one of a kind. But we do see now trying their hardest is Dream Team. I will give them props. They are versing, obviously the star team right now, the team to look like in favour to take it all. They are still, even though they've lost their first match, they're now down 3-0. They're still keeping in there. They're still fighting strong. They're still trying their best. And that's all that matters at the end of the day, Most other teams, most other people might have given up at this point, whereas they're still trying their best. They're still trying their hardest to try and get anything on the go. And as I say that, Veins absolutely once again goes and styles on the bar, knocks it straight away to Veins. Veins bounces it off the left side of the corner and then just straight the way in. And that's a beautiful goal once again. This man just never ceases to impress me.
It makes it look easy. I mean, they're not the easiest thing to do. Of course, he's not under a lot of pressure from his opponent there. He's not really being challenged, but those reads, they do take some practice. They do take some effort to get them consistent, but as soon as he knocks it up to that backboard, he knows exactly what he's doing with it. He goes, okay, I'm going to double this, and double it he did. X-Beta trying to drop down for the ground pinch. Teammate Veins right underneath it as well. I think it threw him off slightly. Now off the crossbar. Can Jaden get out for a little counterplay? Doesn't get the ball under control well enough. X-Beta are able to pull back in time and defend the oncoming danger.
Yeah, that was almost a very nice touch right then from Dream Team. It looked like they might potentially have got something on the go, but every single time you think oh, wait a second, Dream Team? They're going to do something? Oh, no, there's Bayer. Bayer's out of nowhere. He knocks them off the path. And then look where we're at right now. We have Dream Teams just getting absolutely pushed on the backboard. They're just like absolutely falling back to the net. And just Bar is just driving around them at this point. Just playing games. Vaso knocks it up backboard once again. He likes these backboard shots. Unfortunately, doesn't miss that one. And right now, it is on the side of X Backpack, though. Faye's trying to go for a hit, but backs away. He, instead of following up on the wall, trying to potentially get a wall bounce, trying to send that ball on through for his teammate, instead just gives it to Bar, falls back and gives it to Bar, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, again, I think it's one of those things where we're trying to wind down the clock. You know, it's like, okay, we could score more and more, but we know we're winning this. We're already 4-0 up. We don't need to keep extending it. We can just keep playing it to the backboard and working on their mechanics, working on their touches and getting ready, getting warm for the final. That will be against the Flower Pot men. Still very frustrated that their names are not Bill and Ben.
I can't agree. That would have been a sight to behold then.
Ben's just going to run this one all the way back under a little bit of pressure. Going to flick this one high. X-Beta will have the space now. And he can take this one comfortably to the wall. Got plenty of boost to work with, so be interested to see what he goes for. Just a simple double. Misses the touch. Unable to drop it down, and Fanes can once again collect in defense. Now it's his turn to come up off the wall, looking for a double, taking turns on the shots like they're playing a game of skate, or what's the basketball version of skate? Horse. That's it. Horse.
There we go. I had no clue, so. Oh, thank God you're here, man. Honestly, I don't know what I do. Veins with a nice touch right there. Sends up a Bar. Bar tries to come out nowhere. 5 seconds on the clock. We see potentially a nice last goal coming on through, even from potentially. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Nah. I was going to say maybe even for Dream Team would be nice for them to have at least maybe got themselves a goal, but. You know, it is what it is, but, you know, well played to Backpack once again. I mean, they are just phenomenal, and Dream Team shouldn't be sour about it because they did play pretty well, to be fair. And, you know, I'm just hoping for the next one, you know, for the next tournament, we do see them once again because, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure having them here.
Of course, it's been a pleasure to have all of the teams. So commiseration to everyone who didn't make the finals. I can update on the standings. Of course, this was a round robin, so it was a bit of a league format, something we're not too used to here in Rocket League. But X-Backpack, of course, top of the table. They won every single series they played. That puts them all the way up at the top, followed by Flower Pot Men in second. They won 4 of their games, but of course when they met X-Backpack earlier in round 1, they did lose that series, and then it will follow in order best of the best, the Dream Team and Twisted Rage. Of course, best of the best finished third, but it doesn't stop them from being the best of the best. It is the grand final. We've had a round robin. We've had 5 rounds, and we're ended up with 2 teams that are going to go head-to-head in the final. It's X-Backpack versus Flower Pot Men. Now, obviously, X-Backpack coming into this as the favourites with 5 wins out of 5. Flower Pot Men with 4 wins from 5. But, Conch, do you have a personal favourite here?
So, maybe I'm a bit biased, but X-Backpack, I know the players on there. Yeah, they're absolutely phenomenal guys. Like, you know, they've shown us through all these different games how well skilled they are. But, you know, there is a bit of me that's just saying, Flower Pot Men, please win. Because I feel like I love like a good old underdog tale, right? Like at the minute, it's sort of been like a lot of like the attention's been on, you know, it's sort of been on X-Backpack. But, you know, I'm hoping that we can see something coming from Flower Pot Men. And I actually just clocked that one of the players on Flower Pot Men has changed his name to Bill.
He's changed his name. You'll love to see it. Well, I mean, I'm now I hope Flower Pot Men win. And you know what? I've never ever in my whole life gotten a prediction wrong in Rocket League, so it may not be true, but I'm gonna say that Flower Pot Men are coming out of this final with a win.
Bill. But there's no Ben though, so that's the only
I
problem.
called this really at the wrong moment, didn't I?
Yeah. This is Castle's curse. This is. You've just said it, so now it's now because of that, you've just allowed X Backpack to score.
It's all right, you can take it from here, Conch. I'll just see myself out.
Yeah, you might have to after that, but I can't lie to you. That is an unfortunate play, but nonetheless, X Backpack with a nice early goal, minute into the game, and you know what? That's the momentum you sort of need, and that's what we sort of expect. And there's another one to fill the boots. X Backpack now 2-0 up. Not exactly what we were expecting. We were so hoping that Flower Potman were going to give us some kind of. But right now, it's not looking 100% like that's happening. But it's early days, it's early games. Let's fingers crossed and hope that we see something great come out from them.
I mean, it was a good goal, that second one. It was well played. It was an inch-perfect pass. And, I mean, it's not like Flower Pot Men weren't up contesting the shot. They just weren't able to meet it in time. It came with pace, and Flower Pot Men didn't have the boost that they really needed. They were at a disadvantage, and one player with his back to the ball. 2-0 it'll be. Of course, Backpack, the more able team, and still the favourites, but they have a lot more work to do than the last time we saw them play. A great block by Cloudy on Veins, just to deny him the opportunity to drop it down for a teammate. The only thing there is Bill's got to do a little bit better with his clearance. Either got to find his teammate or get it downfield, keep it close. He hasn't done so. Handed possession back to X-Beta, and he's been punished for it.
Very nice shot once again. I mean, just time and time again, like X Backpack just always just cease to impress. They're just so on top of it, and their communication, I would say, like the position and the communication is just too extraordinary, and it really shows how well these two people together just play. I mean, they're just playing so well.
Yeah, they are sort of in their own league at the moment in this tournament. They're just a little bit above the rest. X-Beta again, just trying to cause some issues. It's well defended by Cloudy. He's got a route out. He's going to have the double, but he pancakes it into the wall. He's not able to find the centre. You knew what idea he had. He's like, right, I can play this to the backboard, try and pinch it across net, but I don't want to get too much power on it. So he's used the bottom of his car, try and reduce the amount of power he gets on that pinch. Unfortunately, it's gone out the wrong side, and he's not able to find a teammate. Still 3-0 for X-Backpack as... well, the Flower Pot Men retreat to their back boost to restore themselves and hopefully just clean it up in defense. It's not worked out. They've been punished again for dropping back and allowing X-Backpack the ball. You can't give it to them. You can't allow them that space and time, because they'll come through with the quality every time.
Definitely. I mean, we just keep saying this, and I think this is like a recurring theme throughout this whole entire stream. I'm sure if everyone went back and watched and recorded them, we said it so many times, but like X Backpack, if you give them the space, they will use it, and that's exactly what happens. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the comeback is now on its way as Flower Pot Men lucky enough to put it straight in. Cloudy, the guy who I say can literally convert anything into a goal, does that very nicely right there, and it's now 4-1. Not 100% impossible, but if X Backpack keep playing the way they have, it's going to be very hard to get any goals on the go.
Well, they'll be happy to get one back. They've still got time. A 3v3, a 3-goal deficit with under 2 minutes. It's a tall order in 2v2. You've got a lot more space. It's easier to open up the defense. Could be possible, but when you're not the favourite and you are the team that is struggling and has already lost to this team once before in this tournament, it remains a very tough challenge. X-Beta again, he's going to be able to keep it close. He's opting for the flick. He baited out the ball, made it look like he was going for the boost. A little bit of mind games he's playing on his opponent, Cloud. It almost worked out perfectly. For the time being, the Flower Pot Men withstand the siege and are able to push forward again.
To be fair, Bill was in a perfect spot right there to save the ball. I think, honestly, if Bill wasn't there, that would have been it. But right now it's an open goal, and Veins just pops it straight the way through. that was just unlucky. There was no one there for the defense. It just is an open goal at that point. I mean, we did see the respawn on Bill. Bill's all the way in the back. He tries to come out of nowhere, but just by the time how much space they had and how much speed the ball was going at, there was no way that Bill would be able to catch up. And that's another goal for ex-Backpack. And it's now that 4 leads gap once again. And it's just not looking like this particular match is going to go in the favour of the Flower Pot men, as it just seems to be a little bit too steep for them and too much of a challenge for them to come on back through for this one.
It's just the difference in consistency, not just in mechanics, but also in decision making. You know, it's a simple and easy mistake you see often in Rocket League. You even see it at the highest level, but just that tendency, that bad habit to turn for a back boost after you've been demoed when you respawn. I mean, you can sometimes get away with it in 3v3 because you've got another player that might be able to track back and get in the way. When you turn for that back boost and you leave your net wide open in 2v2, you put yourself under a lot of pressure. He's not able to get there in time. And well, this lead is going to keep getting extended by ex-Backpack. And 6-1, it might look for a 7th. And head into game 2 holding all the cards. Flower Pot men have a lot of work to do.
Almost going in there, though. Would have been a lucky goal. Wasn't exactly anything planned, but it would have been very unfortunate for ex-Backpack. But like enough, nothing goes on through. X-Bar goes for a little bit of a touch, trying to clear. Oh my! What a pinch from X-Bar on the left side right there. He goes straight away flying. That's a hell of a pinch right there. Just boom. Almost, I would say that was unfortunate in a sort of sense that was kind of lucky that it went that way, right?
Wow, it's a Cuxer pinch. He's got it right how he wanted it, and you love to see those. They'll catch anyone out, even at the highest level. A well-executed Cuxer pinch. So hard to defend. It looks great. And I think that really just put all the fear they needed to as Veins looks for a double flip reset. 8-1. Game 1 completed. Backpack take the win. Heading on into game 2. It's going to be a tough ride for Flower Pot men.
I mean, a tough ride, but one that they can... If it was anyone, I feel like it would be Flower Pot men to bring it back, but like, you know, the only problem is 8-1. That's not like, you know, we're not talking like, you know, a few goals difference. That's 8-1. That's 7 goals. That's quite a lot in Rocket League, you know. Though you can score 7 goals in a matter of like 5 seconds in this game, obviously that is very, very hard. But like, you know, it is doable. But, you know, that is a big lead, especially when you consider these teams sort of be on par with level-wise in terms of skill rating in the game. You know, that is a huge, huge lead. And it's one that, you know, if it's allowed to stay and remain, it's just going to be devastating each time.
Well, I've seen games go one way then the other drastically like this in Rocket League, but it tends to be that at least the other team had something to show in the last game, but they only registered 2 shots, Flower Pot men, so it's not like they forced X-Pac into much defending either. It was just from the midfield forward, Backpack were dominant, and they're dominant straight from the start. It's lovely control from X-Beta as he just finesses this one into the air, catches it with his car, gets the flip reset, and it'll be 1-0.
I mean, way to start the game. I mean, that Backpack are just so explosive. Just immediately off the bat, boom. Bar just has an absolutely amazing touch. Goes straight the way in. Perfectly executed, perfectly played. He set up for another one right there, and it's in again. This man needs to be stopped. He's just on a absolute mad one right now. All the cards are in his pocket, and he's playing them all perfectly. All the hands are being dealt in his favor. And my God, is he doing it well, and is he doing it consistently?
Well, there's no question that Veins and X-Beta are the most skillful players here. And it's clearly shown on the scoreboard, not only the 3 goals, but the fact that Bill and Cloudy combined have only managed 5 touches on the ball in the first 30 seconds of play.
Yeah, I mean, that's nuts as it is. And as we were saying in basically the first game, possession is everything as well as space. And finally, Flower Pot men try to go for something. It was Bill, the one and only, trying to go for that. But, you know, it's just nothing set up, and it bounces right way back. And then all of a sudden, Bar is in control, and he scores himself a goal. Like, there's instances like this where you're like, how? How on earth do you allow something like this to happen? Something like this shouldn't be happening.
It's got to be better. I think he took his eyes off the ball for a second. He saw the big boost, and I don't think he tunnel visioned quite on it. I think he just had a little look and thought, well, you know what, I can catch the ball, get the boost. But the moment he takes his eye off that ball, sees it on by, and he leaves his net wide open, and it's just such easy pickings for ex-Backpack, and it's the kind of mistakes you can't afford to be making. You know, keep the ball close, stay on the ball. I know it's easier said than done, but even if your mechanics are not up to scratch of your opponents, just by being near the ball and getting in the way of it, putting yourself between the ball and the goal, you're going to prevent those situations. And I mean, this one's well played. Of course, the bump on the last man, they played the 2v1 very well. They make it 5-0, but 5 goals in the space of 1 minute is, well, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was just thinking. So I was thinking, you know, this game's gone on for a while, and then you realise, you look at the clock, it's only been 1 minute and 5 goals. Like, that is a huge, ridiculous lead. There's going to be extra steep for Flowerpot Men to climb. The longer you let this climb happen, the worse it's going to be for you to even try and have something to play here. But they're not out yet. But my God, is it a tough uphill battle to try and fight. But one that I feel like they can do, they just need to correct their plays, play well, play strong, play together. And I mean, trying to take out Backpack is hard enough as it is.
Another example of a mistake there, where Bill just goes for that boost instead of the ball, and he thinks, okay, you know what, I'm denying my opponent boost here. But his opponent still had 30 boosts, and they're still pushing towards the net. You've got to go for the ball in these situations. Challenge, get the danger away. And these challenges are taking too long to come. Again, Veins with tons of time, tries to go for an outplay. I think he wanted to drop that one down. Cloudy read it and got the challenge in. It remains 5-0. This is the longest period of play we've had without a goal.
Yeah, and this is what I sort of mean. They want to... The whole time, I feel like what needs to happen is, you know, Flowerpot Men needs this to be played like this every single time. They need the game to last as long as possible. They need to just keep playing at the same front, not allowing all these goals to come through and then try and score their own goal. You allow too much space, and this is what happens, right? It's like, now, all that needs to happen, you know, by Backpack is allowing the game to play slow. Right now, you might be saying, oh, it's beautiful, right? Because there's no goals going in, you know? There's nothing setting up by Backpack. It's beautiful, it's happy days. But the problem is, there still remains is that, in a sort of sense, Backpack want this to happen, right? Where there is no goals and it's just constant playing, rotating constantly, because they're up. They're beautiful. They're well off right now. So no matter what, the slower the game goes, the better it is for them.
Well, it's good control here from Bill. It's a lot better from Flowerpot Men, just briefly. Was able to take control. Unfortunately for him, it didn't turn into any goods. Couldn't quite finish his dinner. But the fact that he does opt to keep it close and control that ball, it means he's got more time on it. And he's creating problems for Backpack, creating pressure. And for Flowerpot Men, despite not finding a goal, this is the best period of play they've had in this game.
Yeah, and, you know, this is exactly what they need to do. And I'm hoping, you know, that something comes on through from them, right? And I think, I don't have high hopes for this match, at least, for them to come back. I mean, they're 5 down right now with only a minute left on the clock, and, you know, that's a tough hill to climb. But the only thing they got going now is they say, well, listen, we played very well in this match towards the end. Let's keep up this last game, and let's just try and get a reverse sweep on the go. It's the only thing and the only way they have now is just to try and reset next game and play as well as they have this game, and maybe try and play just a tad a little bit better for their last potential game. Potentially get a reverse sweep on the go. Even getting 1 or 2 games against Backpack would be amazing for them at this stage.
I think it's really important when you are an underdog side is to understand that you are, and to really just see which areas of the game the other team, your opponents, are better at. And it's clear that X-Beta and Veins are well versed in the air, much better than Flowerpot Men, and they're faster, they've got more control, more accuracy, they can control the ball and manipulate it in the air. There's no point for Flowerpot Men to try and take make plays through the air. They're just not going to happen. Vanes will get up way too early. He'll get the block in, or he'll beat you to the ball. You've got to keep that ball close. You've got to keep it on the ground. An underdog team should always be looking for as many 50s as possible, because a 50-50 is something that you can control. And leaving the things up to speed and skill, you're going to get beaten by X-Backpack. They are the more skillful team. So here you need to pull them into as many challenges which you can where they don't get to control it as much and their skill doesn't get to play as big a role.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Remaining control is the most important thing. Like you said, when they started to play a lot more pressure, we saw a lot more fluidity in their play and a lot more of a, sort of like an opportunity for them. And, they just need to keep on top of this. And there is still a potential they could come back, but it's not looking very likely right now. Though I would love to eat my words right now. Because I would love to see them potentially gain a round or two and potentially even go to a match point, But, as we keep saying, the chances of that happening right now are looking slim to none.
Oh yeah, the odds are awful. Having said that, if you were to put a bet on Flower Pot Men winning and going out, I'm sure you would find yourself in a pretty big profit. Not that we're doing any predictions on the channel. It would be nice to see what that would turn out to be. Good from Cloudy there, just from the kickoff, keeping that close. Unfortunately, Vanes is coming forward very quickly. It's an awkward touch from Bill. He can't get it away. Vanes looking for those mind games, for that fake out on the line. It's good by Flower Pot Men. A little bit of patience on net, and Bill into the challenge quickly. X-Beta only just keeps this one away. Can Cloudy put it in the back of the net? Canes it off the crossbar. And somehow it's remained 0-0 with both sides having great opportunities on either side.
Yeah, and that's exactly what needs to keep happening from the side of Flower Pot Men. This aggression. I mean, that was a completely different Flower Pot Men that we haven't seen yet. And they need to just keep on top of this, keep doing what they've been doing, and just play better. But, it's small little goals like that you just can't allow to happen. When you allow stuff like that to happen, it's just not fun for anyone. Cloudy just about misses the ball, Bar just pops it in. Just a simple, nice little easy one right there that just shouldn't have happened. Let's be real.
No, for sure, definitely. It's a gifted goal, and I think Cloudy knows it. He knows that he's rushed that. He knows he's pushed up from the back post far too eagerly and too quickly. He's left a little bit of a gap, a little bit of room to push that ball in behind him, in between him and the post. It is one of those habits a lot of players have, and it's hard to cut out. Vanes now, though, this is a nicer goal. And then maybe, don't know if there was a technical issue there for Cloudy, because he seemed a little static.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate. I mean, it's only 2-0, minute in, which isn't too bad. There's still potential, but once again, you don't want the team who's about to take it all to have it. That was a nice little touch on Bill, then try and create some opposition, and this is a goal. A very nice, clean one. Though it maybe, it wasn't anything fancy, but we see now from this replay that Cloudy just touched on the right-hand side. Vanes over-predicts it. I think it's going to be sent straight at him. That's just a nice wall bounce. He continues on through, and a nice touch by him to finish things on through. It's now 2-1. Flower Pot Men are on the rise, and they can potentially do this one.
Good for them to get a little goal back, and Bill now taking his time with this one. We'll look for the 50 on Vanes. He almost gets rewarded for it. Beta looking for the musty off the wall. Plays this to the backboard. Gets another touch. It's awkward. Cloudy realised he's got a little bit of space. He keeps it close. This is better from Flower Pot Men. They just want to control that ball a bit more. They want to stay in possession. Can Vanes find Beta here? No, he gets past one. It's all good for Cloudy. It goes in to his own net. It's a little unfortunate. Looked like he had it. It was just enough from Vanes.
That was just unfortunate from Cloudy. He needed to sort of play more of an aggressive type thing. Obviously, in that scenario, he played well in terms of just sitting there waiting for it to come straight at him, because he knew it was obviously going to come straight at him. But, rather than try and meet with the ball, he just sort of sat there and was hoping that he could just ballsy block it, which ultimately just led to the, obviously bouncing off of his car and straight into the goal. We just see Builder going for something right now, goes for a wall bounce, centers it on through, but nobody, his teammates not there to help him. Cloudy, unfortunately, was a little bit too far away, so it was built in a 1 versus 2, which obviously we do just see doesn't win that. Blaenau in control, launches up the right side, but unfortunately, Cloudy takes control of it, launches down the mid, but Veins is immediately there and on it. He launches it back on through, down to the net. Bardo's there, ready to finish on through, and these two players, Veins and Bar, are just so switched on, so together. They are just the yin and yang of Rocket League right now. As soon as one person looks like they may have messed up their play, they knock it out into the open, and the other one just comes straight the way in. Boom, finishes exactly what it was started. And it's just so beautiful. These players right now are so deserving of this top spot.
Well, they've just got the pace. They're just that much quicker. They know what they're doing with the ball. They have an idea. They have a plan every time they get the ball. See here, Beta just takes his time because he knows he's got space. That allows him to play it up to the wall. Veins is already up. They're looking for a clip here. Beta wasn't able to flick it on over to him. Veins has got to rush back. He's left it open. They took a risk, and they've been hit back for it.
That's huge. That is really big. 2 minutes, 2 goals. Very high potential. Flower Pot men need this. This would be absolutely insane and would be game-breaking. I just feel it coming on through for them at least to try and compete and try and even things across the board. But as I say that, I eat my own words. Veins almost gets himself another goal. Lucky enough, though, it wasn't exactly in the right position for him, but a touch comes on up. Bill tries to knock it out, and Veins right there knocks it out of the way, trying to get a clear ball rather than being so close up in the net to Bill, though gets a demo onto Bar. Nice little goal, trying to get touched by Veins right there, but nice save from Cloudy. Now it's back in the mid. Veins sends it on through, though. Bill does get rid of Veins, which means he is back at his net now, though, which means like he's ultra defended, ready and waiting. Cloudy, though, with position the ball, doesn't get very good touch. So that means Veins now back in full control. Tries to send it back down the mid, but Bill is waiting anxiously there, waiting for the play of Veins. Veins sends it on through the mid and just slowly but surely glides it straight through the air, and that's a nice goal from Veins. Very well done to them. It's now 5-2.
I mean, when someone's in this kind of form, what can you do? And that was a work of art, a masterclass by Veins. Got perfect control of the ball. You don't know which way he's going to go. You don't know when he's going to flick. He keeps you guessing. Keeps it close, and it's a great finish. The 3-goal lead. And this may be enough to put things out of reach for Flower Pot men. Clean sweep looking very likely. Those 2 Esports Wales jerseys on the line, of course.
Yep, and well, that's a hell of a prize in favour right now. And minute left on the clock, you have to score 4 goals. Unfortunately, as much as I'd hate to say this, it's not looking good for the Flower Pot men, and it's looking like Backpack are definitely going to be putting those new jerseys into their backpack. I mean, it's just a sight to behold right now. I mean, and I keep saying this over and over again. Backpack well deserving of it, and yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say really. Flower Pot men are just keep falling short of their plays.
I mean, that was filthy by Veins. I mean, there was no one back to defend, but a clear display of control, and to use his flip to actually jump back down to the ground to get under the ball to catch it. I mean, it's a move that you see very, very rarely. Seen people use it in fake outs and things, but to use it there just to add a little bit of spice to his finish looks great and shows that he's a very talented player. That's, I mean, for me, the last time I saw him play, he's come a long way since then, for sure.
Yeah, that's a nice goal by Flower Pot men, but 20 seconds on the clock and you've got to score 3 goals. Not impossible, but I just don't see that happening. But this is Rocket League, and I have seen in the past stuff happen, but 10 seconds. I don't see it happening. I think it's GG and well done to Backpack. They played tremendously. But, big props to Flower Pot men. They also put up a show for us today. And there we go. That's Backpack taking it.
Well, indeed, Backpack, they were dominant all throughout today. They did not drop a single game. So, of all of the best of 3s they played, so they've won, how many? 8? 11 games without a response from an opponent. It was quick maths, I know, it's quite impressive. But they have taken it here, 6-3 in the final game of this final against Flower Pot Men. Flower Pot Men did put up a decent battle, and I would say it was probably one of the most entertaining series of the day. It was a closer series and two teams of considerable skill, which was always good to see.
Definitely. Like I said, regardless of if you are a team that didn't do particularly well in this, or even if you are backpack, everybody still showed up. Everyone still put on a show. Nobody gave up, which, not gonna lie to you, if I was getting 10-0'd, I probably would have gave up. So, you've got to envy those players who are coming out, you're showing up, still playing and participating, and, just still huge congratulations to every single team who participated. They've all played tremendously well, and, they're all winners in our hearts.
For sure, indeed. It's great for everyone who has participated. Of course, thank you for participating. Of course, Esports Wales wouldn't be able to run tournaments if there were no players. So, of course, anyone participating, it's always good to have you here. And for not quitting and dropping your heads, to keep pushing on and playing out all the games. It's something that perhaps I'm toxic, because I don't think I could after losing or getting completely annihilated by Veins and Beta. It would hurt my ego far too much, my fragile ego. But anyway, quick shout out if you just tuned in for that final. Of course, this is the 2v2 Rocket League the Gwent 2v2 Rocket League Cup, and it was for the last time I'm going to try this pronunciation, but the Blaenau Gwent Youth Service, we have to thank them as they make this tournament possible as it's part of their summer of fun for all children and young people in Blaenau Gwent. Conch, it's been a pleasure to have you on here with us, and so of course, go ahead and check out ConchCast's socials. Is it at ConchCast on
yes,
Twitter?
It's at CastsConch.
And if you're not already following Esports Wales, go check out the social media channels. See it there in the chat. It's linked. And, of course, go and give myself a follow. I don't tweet very good things, so I'm not really worthy. But feel free to go check out at Aidanseesthings. Of course, a big shout-out to Finchy on production and to everyone who tuned in. But for now, that's going to be all from us. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Esports Wales would like to introduce the new Proving Grounds tournaments. These are new community tournaments where players of any ranks can join. After you sign up, you will get sorted into teams and then play in a round-robin tournament, normally around 2 to 3 hours. So, what have you got to prove?